Watching some of the local boxing action, some young fighters, some up-and-coming fighters. Regilio Tour, in case you tuned in late, knocks out Manuel Batista in round number 1. We now pause for a regional break. Sports Channel America, John Galliard against Irving Pierre Lewis. Let's take a look at the key numbers of this next bout as you get a look at the fighters in the ring right now. And the tail of the tape brought to you by Schlitz Malt Liquor. Galliard and Lewis each at 5'6". Galliard 2 pounds heavier. Reach advantage in favor of Lewis by 3 inches. Lewis at 26, Galliard at 22. Here is our ring announcer, James Murata.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next contest is in the junior lightweight division at 6 rounds. Your alternate referee, Randy Newman, will count for the knockdowns. The man in charge of this contest, referee Joe Cortez. Introducing first in the red corner, wearing black on black trunks. He has a professional record of 5 wins, no losses, 2 big knockouts, weighs in at an even 121 pounds. Here is Irving Pierre Lewis. His opponent in the blue corner is from Hillside, New Jersey. He is wearing black trunks trimmed in red and green. He weighs in this evening at 123 pounds. Here is John Galliard. 6 rounds.
All right, gentlemen, the rules were given to you both earlier. I want a good team fight. Obey my commands at all times. I don't want any rough tactics, all right? Shake hands. Good luck to both of you.
So we get set. 6 rounds in the junior lightweight division. John Galliard and Irving Pierre Lewis. 2 fighters maybe heading in different directions. You get a look at Galliard, 0-1-2. And Irving Pierre Lewis is at 5-0. Round number 1 is underway.
Galliard looks like he wants to stay outside and get his jab established. And Lewis looking for an opening on the inside.
Irving Pierre Lewis in the solid black trunks. John Galliard in the black with the green and red. Left hand by Galliard glanced ahead of Lewis after Lewis came inside.
Lewis came inside trying to set up a right hand. He landed one earlier. Nice turning here by Lewis. He's got a pretty good sense of what he's got to do.
Well, Galliard got rocked back, but he fights it off. A minute gone by in round 1. Slapping punches of Galliard.
He looked like he was on his way back when he was getting those punches in motion. Of course, when you sit down in your punches, you take a bigger risk of getting hit in return.
Oh, what a right hand that time by Lewis. And it knocked back the head of Galliard.
Lewis reacted to it really matter-of-factly. Like, I can land that any time I want. Lewis right now getting a feel for which punches will work. The right hand to the head will, and so will a shot to the body.
Good hook to the body there by Lewis.
A vast difference in the way each fighter is throwing his punches.
Well, I think we're seeing the reason why one guy is 5-0 and the other one is 0-1-2.
The difference and the intensity with the way Lewis throws his, and the slapping angle of Galliard.
Well, Galliard's legs buckle there. Good body work by Lewis. Now being warned for holding. This is round number 1. Scheduled for 6. 30 seconds remaining in the round.
Galliard responding here, but the question is, will he establish respect in the mind of Lewis?
Referee Joe Cortez separates the fighters. Closing seconds of this first round. This one is scheduled for 6. Galliard against Lewis on Sports Channel America. Lands Convention Center. Bob Papa along with Dave Bontempo. Round number 2 is underway. Irving Pierre Lewis at 5-0 with 2 knockouts in the solid black trunks. John Galliard out of Hillside, New Jersey, 0-1-2 in the black with the red and green. Lewis fighting out of Brooklyn.
Lewis comes in with an advantage not only of the knockouts, but the ability to go 6 rounds, which he did before in his last fight. A decision win over George Young, February the 9th.
Well, Galliard fired that overhand right. Didn't really affect Lewis. Beat George Young, huh?
The infamous George Young. Yeah, knocked George into the football business.
Let him go. Get his arms out. Get him out. Get him out. Get his arms out.
Good uppercut that time by Lewis. Lewis is keeping busy.
Get his arms out. Get him out.
Lewis showing the ability to take what's given here. On the inside, it was being held. Landed a couple shots to the sides. Kept himself in the action. Galliard getting a little bit braver here in round 2. Could help him, and it could also enable him to walk into one.
Midway point of the second round. Tell you what, Lewis is doing a nice job going to the body.
It's always a mark of promising fighters, not necessarily in a hurry to finish the job, knowing what it takes to finish the job, and that's the body work.
Irving Pierre Lewis. Got bad carved in the back of his hair. He is pretty bad. And I mean that in a good sense.
Gee, he's got 3 names after only 5 fights.
Lewis warned for punching in the back, but keeping those hands going.
Good snap on these punches by Lewis.
Lewis looks like he's getting a little impatient now. Some blood coming out of the nose of Galliard. This is the end of round number 2. It's scheduled for 6. Round number 2 coming to a close. And Irving Pierre Lewis putting on a clinic as he rocks back Galliard. Tonight, watching main events as they put on this program. Co-manager and trainer of Evander Holyfield, Meldrick Taylor, Pernell Whitaker. Sweet Lou's ready to go.
Done such a good job with all of his fighters, and really fights on their behalf when he goes to negotiations. And speaking of the fighting on the inside, some good action here. As Lewis does a nice work with the uppercut, good body work, and just stays busy.
All right, let's go. Come on.
And we begin round number 3 of the scheduled 6-round junior lightweight bout. Irving Pierre Lewis in the solid black trunks. John Galliard out of Hillside, New Jersey in the black trunks with the red and green trim. And Galliard took some punishment near the end of round 2, and he takes some to start round 3.
A pair of left hooks at the end of the round got in and shook Galliard. He hasn't lost too much of his bravery. He still wants to stand and slug. He's imploring Lewis to come on. Thinks he can take Lewis's best shot.
I've been very impressed with Irving Pierre Lewis to this point.
He's got a poise that extends beyond his record. And when one punch doesn't work for him, he quickly goes to something else. A lot of young fighters get caught up in one thing has to work, and that's the only thing. Lewis has a lot of variables to shoot at tonight, because when he's missing with the overhand right, he is coming back and landing the left hook to the body. I would look for him to step up the pace a little bit, though.
You wonder if a young fighter could get a bit frustrated. Not being able to put out the other guy. there's a punch that got Galliard's attention.
As good a job as he's done tonight, Lewis has not been able to put combinations together. Land a strong left hook, and then that's been it.
1 minute to go in this third round. This fight is scheduled for 6. Lewis is scoring at will. Galliard got lucky there that he did not get nailed with the right.
Lewis had him timed perfectly behind that lazy jab. If Galliard walked a couple steps closer, he would have really gotten clocked. One thing Galliard has been able to do on the inside has been to smother Lewis occasionally.
Final seconds of round number 3, this scheduled 6th-round bout. Irving Pierre Lewis against John Galliard from the Meadowlands Convention Center in Secaucus, New Jersey. And we welcome you back to Secaucus, New Jersey. Bob Papa along with Dave Bontempo. Round number 4 is underway. The scheduled 6th-round junior lightweight bout. Irving Pierre Lewis in the solid black trunks. He has dominated John Galliard through the first 3. If you joined in late, Regilio Tour scored a first-round knockout over Manuel Batista. And Tour was very impressive. His 6th first-round knockout.
Lewis has come out with a lot more fire here in the 4th. I think a little bit annoyed that he wasn't able to get it going more in round 3.
Lewis took a left hand to the chin and then swatted himself a few more times for good measure.
Even though Lewis is listed as having the 3-inch reach advantage, he's had trouble really getting a lot of shots home to the head over the right arm of Galliard as far as getting double combinations off. And that's been bothering him at times and probably led to him coming out very strongly here. If nothing else, Galliard has been awkward and gangly as a target for Lewis.
Well, referee Joe Cortez almost ate an uppercut. Galliard just past the midway point of this 4th round. Right hand snuck in by Lewis. Galliard with nothing on that counter right.
And consequently, Lewis getting a little bit sloppier and taking more chances here. He's missing a lot over the top. In the beginning, he seemed patient and was willing to go to the body and figure he would bring down the hands of his opponent, but it hasn't happened as quickly as he'd like.
Well, now Galliard's feeling a bit brave because Lewis nailed him with a good left hand and Galliard hasn't budged either. Mr. Galliard may be losing some respect for Lewis's punching power.
He's been able to roll with a few shots and not catch too many in a row. He is tired, though.
30 seconds to go in this 4th round. Combination there by Lewis scored, but it was really the end of the punch, and Galliard not effective. So Irving Pierre Lewis and John Galliard continue to slug it out. We'll be back with the 5th round after this timeout.
After he's been strong with the left hook all night.
And round number 5 is underway. And Dave, I guess for formality's sake, how do you see it scored?
A shutout for the formality's sake. But even though Galliard's getting braver and it's helping him, I don't think it's helping him enough on the scorecards. Galliard going into territory he's not been in so far. the 5th round. All of his fights have gone 4. And he seems pretty psyched up for this challenge here.
There you get a look at Irving Pierre Lewis. Solid black trunks. Lewis at 5-0 with 2 knockouts, fighting out of Brooklyn, New York. And it gone by here in round 5. Galliard out of Hillside, New Jersey, 0-1-2. And you would think Hilliard's first career win, if it was to come tonight, would have to be a knockout.
Yeah, he's in a position he does not want to be in. He's got to be on the outside painting a masterpiece to get a win. Now he would have to come in here and steal this one. One thing that's kept Galliard alive is the head movement. He's been able to get away from catching too many flush shots consecutively. But in the process of doing that, he's thrown his offensive rhythm off.
Oh, Galliard took a left hand to the head there, but it just didn't affect him.
And the pace of Lewis has come down a lot since the beginning. He's fighting more in spurts, not really putting 3 minutes of every round together.
This left hook there by Galliard.
Galliard showing a lot of savvy to still be here and not to have been devastated by the effect of these punches. His defense, however, is eliminating his offense.
Well, that is the time remaining in round number 5. This fight is scheduled for 6. Lewis and Galliard will be back with the final round after this timeout. So we begin the 6th and final round between John Galliard and Irving Pierre Lewis. Lewis in the solid black trunks, Galliard in the black with red and green. It has been all Lewis.
Lewis saved a bit of his gas tank for the final round here. He didn't want to peak too early, and he starts off with a nice combination.
Can he finish Galliard?
Fighters get into mental blocks as if they accept the fact that the fight will go the distance, and it will be some accomplishment for Lewis if he does, because Galliard has withstood his best.
Where does Galliard go from here? If he is not able to muster up a knockout and get a stunning upset, he falls to 0-2-2 pro.
He's going to have a predicament in that he's got some fairly decent defensive skills, but he can't sit down on his punches. You have to have something that makes the other fighter respect you, and so that he cannot keep coming right forward. Lewis has already taken a backward step in this fight.
Well, Irving Pierre Lewis has done one thing consistently. He has continued to dig at the body. In fact, both men doing it right here.
Galliard has not been cheated as far as giving an effort is concerned. Everything he's got, he's giving here. He just doesn't have the power. You can teach fighters some things, and you can improve their leverage to make the punching power a little better. But a lot of it is Mother Nature also.
And Lewis getting a little frustrated. He ate a couple of punches there as he tried to unload with the big shot. Galliard is getting more and more confident as the fight goes on. Not that he'll win, but that he'll just not go down.
He's not really intimidated by the effect of Lewis's punches, and he rises to the challenge when he gets hit with a couple shots. He always wants to answer immediately.
And Galliard ties up Lewis. 40 seconds to go in the fight. Galliard still working, and Lewis still frustrated. Final seconds of the fight. Lewis and Galliard. It's been a rough one. There were no knockdowns, and that is it. John Galliard, he gave it all he had as he heads back to his corner. Can't fault him for a lack of effort. But the other man, Irving Pierre Lewis, right there appeared to have the better skills.
Got off to a strong start and seemed to settle in during the middle rounds and accept the decision that seemed to be coming his way. Lewis's punches slowed down as the fight went along, and Galliard did get braver. It just didn't seem like he had enough.
Well, let's take a look at some of the action in the middle of the final round. Some good exchanges.
Galliard trying to stand strong here, but he's flat-footed, and Lewis comes in and tries to do some of his better work. Look at the angles of Galliard. He's not really in position to punch because he's focusing on getting away, and he took a good left hook to the body there. At the end of the round, the action was also intense. Galliard gets away from the right hand and tries to dig in and do his best. And here he sat down on his punches a little bit, but it looked like it was too late.
Dave, did you have it a shutout?
I did have it a shutout. Still a very good effort by Galliard, given the limitations of his ability.
And there is Irving Pierre Lewis out of Brooklyn. Is he 6-0? We will find out. And here's the man with the answer. Our ring announcer, James Murata.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your decision. Judge Eugene Grant sees the bout 59-55. Judge Debbie Barnes 59-55. Judge Al DeVito 59-55. All for your winner by unanimous decision, Irving Pierre Lewis.
Well, somewhere in there, Galliard won a round from all of the judges, but that was it. Irving Pierre Lewis is now 6-0, a unanimous decision over John Galliard. We have much more action to go after this timeout on Sports Channel America. For the evening here at the Meadowlands Convention Center in Secaucus, New Jersey, Joe Gaddy squares off against Matt Farago. 10 rounds in the middleweight division. And lots of excitement here in New Jersey. We have lots of boxing action for you, and standing by right